Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I thought today I would kind of show you how I used to budget before I lived with my mom and almost paid nothing for rent. So I have 3 pay stubs. Let me get these kind of in order. This is from June and July. And keep in mind, I was at $11.25 an hour for these paychecks, but I also got a lot of overtime over the summer because my boss had a baby and was not there to monitor. So there was a paycheck, I think it was after this one, so in my first check in August, I think, I had a ton of overtime. Like, I think 20 hours or 19 hours. I got these kind of all messed up, my little pay stub envelope here. Yeah, my paycheck right after this, I had 21 hours of overtime. So, and that's mostly because my boss had her baby, and me and her oldest son cleared a ton of hours during that time. So here's these checks. So I'm going to kind of set this up the way that I normally do, and I pulled all these sticker books out and didn't even keep one out. But I'm going to use just some stickers from one of these. So we'll go ahead and do July, because it is a July spread. So we're just going to go ahead and pull from here, except my month header. I will use one of these stickers. And then I'll kind of go through here with you guys how I set up my paychecks for that also. Because where I was making more money, sometimes I was also spending more on bills, and I was spending more just on random stuff that I didn't need, and I wasn't monitoring it. So it got kind of bad there for a while. Like now, where I have a set budget for fuel or groceries or my personal allowance, I did not before. So I was just spending a lot of money. And so we're just going to kind of set this off to the side and then go over this little budget. Although I did lose my pen. Okay, so in July, I do want this set up. I have a ruler that's not in a planner. I'm going to use that one. So I'm going to put income. And normally I would just include the 2. Actually, I think I might still just include the 2. So it would be June 26th and July 10th were my paydays, because July 24th paycheck would have been for August if I had budgeted then how I do now. And I probably would have been able to save a lot more money. So I'm not going to include the budgeted column because I didn't do that then. So I'm just going to do pay. And so it's going to leave a lot of this space blank, and that's fine. So $626, my net pay was $873.56. And for July 10th, it was $775.52. Alright, so total would be $873.56 plus $775.52 is $1649 $1,258.08 is my total for July. Okay, and then we get into my bills. And I don't really have to make this cute, but I want to. And then, like, this is just at the back of my deluxe monthly that I already used for budgeting. It's on my very last page. I don't think that I'll use enough note pages in the next year that this will be a problem. So I'm just going to put this up here and just have it say bills, because I did not ever budget, I budgeted for fuel and groceries and stuff, but I never put it in my monthly budget. And I never really just sat down and did a monthly budget before then. So off of this, I'm going to put this line here. And then I'm just going to do amount. Excuse me. Okay, so for June 26th, I would have paid rent, my Wells Fargo. Actually, I'm just going to kind of go down the list. Internet, car payment, daycare, community health, Capital One, portfolio recovery, Discover, Verizon, Electric, my last portfolio recovery, and Pandora. So we'll go ahead and enter the amounts. My rent at the time was $565. Most of my other bills were the same. I did have internet, $44.99 a month. My car payment was the same. Daycare was averaging $150. Community health was $50. Capital One was $25. These were each $5. Discover was $20. And this was a time I only made minimum payments for everything, so that's all I'm going to put down here. My electric bill was ranging from $50 to $150, but I think in July, I'm pretty sure it was just $50. And then this one is $10.27 and $9.99. Okay. So, and then here's kind of how I would have done it before, or how I was doing it before. I would go through and make a list. And then this would have been check 1 and check 2. So, I would have separated that out, and this would have been 1, 1, 1, and 1, and then 2, 2, 2, and I think the rest of these would have been check 2. Oh, sorry. My mom's work phone is ringing. She left it here. And so then I would have figured out, so this is what I would have done for my monthly setup. And then we'll go ahead and flip to this back page to do, I'm just going to do both paychecks on this one page. So I would have done 626, and that was $873.56. And we'll go ahead and put in, I'm going to use this June washi. I'm going to use this dark green one, or maybe this more navy one. Just because I only have one sheet or one strip of washi left for July. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that in. And then it would have been expenses, because I didn't really budget for much else. I budgeted for my bills, I paid my bills, and then I just kind of spent the rest of it as frivolously as I felt was necessary. So $626 would have been rent, Wells Fargo, internet, and car payment. And that's probably not even as accurate. Okay, so 565, 25, 44.99, and 255.45. And I think that actually extends me past my pay. It does. So here's what I would have done was, because this is $890.44, my internet bill was coming out of my Discover card, which isn't due until later. So what I would have ended up doing would be, I would not do this now. I would figure out something else. I would figure out how to rework my budget, but I would just not make this payment to Discover card, because that's what I was doing. This would pull out of my Discover account for the internet, and then I would immediately put in that $45 back to Discover. So I would have just not made that payment at all, and I would have just sent it later with my Discover bill. Maybe. That's why my Discover card is as high as it is. But so that's how I would have done that, because I overextended myself, is I would have just not made that payment to Discover because it wasn't due, so it wasn't going to affect me at all. And that's kind of how my budgeting went a lot, was, oh, well, I guess what bill am I not going to pay just so I can do this? And I don't do that so much anymore. Like, sometimes I'm like, okay, what bill can I afford to pay later because this came up? So we're going to put this strip of washi down, and then I'm going to put my 710 underneath it. And that was $775.52. And so that would be daycare for June. That would have been June's daycare. So June daycare. Community Health, Capital One, Discover. I'm going to put Pandora on here. And then it also gets a little bit hinky with this too, because this second paycheck in July was on the 24th, which would have been before my phone bill was due. So where I put on here, Verizon would come out of my second check, it probably wouldn't have. It would have been Verizon and like my electric bill, and probably from here down, except Pandora, Verizon, electric, and this portfolio recovery would have just come out of my next check on the 24th, along with rent, Wells Fargo, and internet. And that's kind of just how I pushed it. Like, it was, I think over the summer I needed about, or when I was living on my own, I needed like $700 per check to pay all of my bills, which, I mean, seemed ridiculous, and it was to pay all my bills and not be struggling. So here, it would have been June's daycare. I actually have that exact amount here. was $119.40. So it was $40 cheaper than what I would have budgeted for. And so what I might have done in this situation would be switch my car payment and the daycare or something to make sure everything got paid. But honestly, I don't remember because it was so long ago, but I probably just didn't make that payment and just left it. Okay, so this would be $119.40 plus 50, 25, 20, $9.99. And so yeah, this would be $224.39. So honestly, I probably would have actually set it up so that this bill came out of here instead to even it out a little bit, because that would have been $479. And like, so I kind of like worked it so that my car payment and daycare were usually made together, and then my rent was by itself. But that's kind of how I would have set it up previously. I mean, it would have been, if I had budgeted like I do now in June and July and August when I made all of this extra money with all the overtime, then I would be set and I would have paid off all of my portfolio recovery bills, because right now I've got one of them is paid off and my mom did that. And so I want to pay off these other two, and I want to pay off the rest of these bills. And honestly, had I budgeted then the way that I do now, these three would probably be taken care of. And I'd be working on more of my debt, like the bigger debts that I have. But anyway, so we'll bring you back to this page. There's so many stickers in the back of this. So we'll bring you back to this page. And I'm just going to kind of do a quick ad of my bills. $65, $50. Okay, so my total bills for July were sitting at $1380.70. And so $1649.08 minus 1380.7 was, I would have had left over $268.38. And I would love to say that I saved that or that I paid bills with it, but honestly, I probably just blew that money on going out to eat or whatever my son wanted or whatever I wanted. And like $268 is a lot left over at the end of the month when you're budgeting like this. But I mean, this is not even including groceries or fuel, which wouldn't have even taken up that much. But I like lived like I was poor, but then I also lived like I was super wealthy, and you can't do both. It doesn't really work out. But anyway, so I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, just leave comments down below. I read every comment and I try to answer the ones that have questions in them, but I do read all my comments. But anyway, so yeah, if you have any questions about this or how I did it, just leave me a question or a comment down below and I will try my best to answer it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.